Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So when you look at the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 7, and then read verse 8, and something astonishing pops up. You see, we know the rule that the Torah was written very concisely and very precisely. There are no extra words in the Torah. Anything that, quote, could be intimated or somehow implied, God didn't write it in the Torah. God wasn't looking to fill up pages and to make a bestseller and make, so to speak, a good profit. This is, I should say, the Torah is with the purpose of teaching us how to live our life. So every detail in the Torah is another lesson in life. And if there isn't a reason or a lesson to be learned, then God didn't write it. He's not here to write stories or details in stories, especially when they can be self-understood. Now, when you read verse 8, it's very obvious and clear that Pinchas used the spear to do what he had to do to save the moment. But why the verse 7? Verse 7 is so obvious. If it would have just said verse 8, that means we would have on our own been very able to deduce that Pinchas observed, saw the situation, and then that he stood up, because obviously if he was sitting reclined or in the midst of his studies, he wouldn't be able to do this. He had to actually run over to the people who were committing this terrible sin and actually do what he did. So it's obvious that he stood up. He didn't do it from a distance. And he stood up and he ran over. And it's obvious that he had a spear in his hand, that the spear wasn't just laying on his side. So why say it? What is the Torah trying to teach us with this? What are we to learn from this? Well, the real question is, does the Torah promote, not just condone, but promote zealousness? I mean, obviously, Pinchas was a zealot. What he did was an act of zealousness or vigilantism. Does the Torah condone it? Does the Torah actually promote it? Well, here lies the answer. It depends. If you just had verse 8, we wouldn't know for sure, we wouldn't know for certain, or certainly we wouldn't have clarity. But now that we have verse 7, we will understand that it's not superfluous. There's nothing extra here. In fact, the Torah is teaching us what kind of zealot is good versus the one that's not good. You see, two people can do the very same act, which is an act of goodness, but the two of them have absolutely, totally different, or perhaps even opposing motivation behind what they did. You see, there are some people that their act of zealousness can be in the right and true, for the right and true cause. But their motive is that they are looking for trouble, or they're looking for a fight. And they kind of, at least in idea, figuratively, walk around all day looking for this opportunity, and they hold that spear in their hand, or the club, or whatever it is, ready to pounce on the person who is doing the wrong thing. That type of zealousness the Torah does not condone, certainly doesn't promote. But the one like Pinchas, where Pinchas was minding his own business, he was busy studying, learning as much as he can from Moses. And suddenly this popped up. And the moment called for him to be zealous. Now he had to, quote, see. He had to observe what's going on, take it in, realize that it's a time for action. And therefore he had to get up from amongst those who were sitting and studying. Meaning he was not ready and prepared for this. He had to prepare himself for this. And then he had to pick up a spear, which he obviously did not have readily available. In other words, this is not the person who he was. This type of zealousness is what the Torah condones, is what the Torah promotes. If you happen to be in a situation where there is a need for a good person to stand up and make that statement, make the statement of truth, or set things right, that's when you come to action. But not that you walk around, so to speak, looking for it, looking for that trouble with the, so to speak, justification that it's for a good cause. That type of zealousness is really just an excuse, I should say, for one's inner need for trouble and action, but they just are able to sugarcoat it with, quote, it being the right thing. That's not the type of zealousness that the Torah condones.